live. Alright, so I'm going to be displaying a Melffy 2021 deck profile, and this is going to go to YouTube, but I mean, I'm doing it on here so I can just put it to YouTube that much easier instead of doing all the editing. So yeah, with thanks to this guy finally coming in the mail, it's a little janky on the what's it called, on the names, so I'll be reading them out for y'all. But yeah, we're just gonna start from like regular A to B to C, not A to B to C. Sort of, we're just gonna go by the deck list style that I had on Pro. That's how order we're gonna go. All right, first monster we're gonna go up is we all know this is a side frame driver, so we already know where we're going with that. We're gonna play 2 Alpha, the Master of Beasts, and we're playing 2 Alpha, the Master of Beasts because if you're going first, and you know going first is pretty cool. With this deck, yeah, I don't want to see more than 1 or 2 Alpha, the Master of Beast, and I have a 3 for the side-in, so yeah, it makes this somewhat budget playing 2. See, you got 2 fractals, and inside Melffy Tri-Brigade, you don't really need too much, you know, like the fractal as much. You don't rely on fractal for starting off your plays, so when you only play 2, you could play 1 if you want, is a budget alternative, and that's completely cool. But yeah, that's the way that is right there. Now we got 3 of the best boys, because hell yeah, it's gonna be Rescue Cat. That's a Dual Saga version right there. That to me is max rarity. Dual Saga Cat, freaking amazing. If you would need to, you could put out you could pitch off the Rescue Cat, do a Mind Mole, and a little beautiful deer right there, and you make yourself a Naturia Beast, infinite spell negates. It's amazing. You find yourself playing against pendulums, that's how you do it. Also starts off plays by well, I'll talk to you about that in a minute. And then we got 3 hand traps. Ash Blossom, Joy of Spring, you need that. I mean, that's like the standard now in Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, it's not gonna, in this format, it's not really gonna stop your plays or anything, stop your opponent's plays, but I mean, it does help. It is generic for any deck you go against, so it's at least going to slow them down, and it's going to work for about almost every deck you play against. So I mean, most of all, that's going to be like the gold standard you start out with, and you kind of side out Ash Blossom basic by depending on what you play against. We're going to play triple Tri-Brigade Cuirass. Tri-Brigade Cuirass, being a level 2 in this deck, it's amazing. This deck's all about Xyz rank 2s, and yeah, I mean, this guy's the easiest to get off the field. We got unlimited beast supports and stuff, so I mean, he's a extender in this deck, and you know, for the Tri-Brigade stuff, I mean, hell yeah. We had the driver in the beginning, so we have Gamma. So Rescue Cat actually pitches herself to the graveyard first before she summons, so they try to ash the Rescue Cat. The Rescue Cat sends herself to the grave as cost. So Gamma, you can activate Gamma in response to an Ash, and that's pretty cool. And so you resolve Gamma a lot in this deck, because the 2 starters index of this deck is Obedience Schooled and Rescue Cat. So you could so yeah, you have a Gamma in hand, which I always draw the driver. But if you have the Gamma, then yeah, I mean, you could totally mop the floor with that, man. I should run more of this, but I don't want to see this in my opening hand. Tri-Brigade Kit. Tri-Brigade Kit is amazing because it makes in Melffy Brigade, it makes it so amazing because with Obedience School and Rescue Cat, you can easily put her on the field and use her as Xyz material. I'll tell you more about that later. To activate her effect and start going through the Tri-Brigade engine. That's why we don't need as many Tri-Brigade fractals, is because Kit actually gets the whole thing started. And you know, you want to use her off your extenders. You don't actually want to see her. That's how you get started, because it's based off your extenders for the rest of the Melffy deck. We explained this one earlier. Melffy the Forest and Mind Mole. That's basically for your Naturia Beast package. You could go about that however you want. Mainly, you could use Obedience School, then Normal Summon Rescue Cat, and just go off of there. Sometimes you get started off with those 2. Sometimes there's other ways. If you have the Mind Mole in hand, you could go into a Link 2 and special the Mind Mole, and then get the deer out get Bambi out here by your thing. I'm gonna say the name because just in case y'all can't see it well, it's a Very Flan Mystical Beasts of the Forest, and this is a Mind Mole. Mind Mole came off Ghost of the Past as Ultra, so it should be pretty easy to obtain. So yeah, Also, the Bambi here also has a different effect where if you discard any card in your hand, like a Dead Gamma, then you could special summon a level 2 lower beast. Which, I mean, if you happen to have one of these in the graveyard, you trip off this effect, which happens a lot in this deck. To basically, this is a special summon by the effect of a beast monster. There we go, beast right there. Also works with the Blossom Link to Tri-Brigade monster. You could pop something on your opponent's side of the field that's pissing you off, and that's amazing. You use that in the deck a lot. You play 2 of those. You don't want to brick on 3 because I don't want to see those in my hand. Hop your Squadron. We run what's this face in this deck? We run the Herald of the Arclight, because I mean, when you have that dead Gallantosin up on the field over here, when you have this card up on the field and it's all there, it's all dead and everything, it's not doing nothing. You use a cat to get the Hop your Squadron inside your hand, and then on your opponent's turn, just make another gate, another kind of like floodgate, so kind of mess with them a little bit, and that's amazing. We run triple Puppy because Puppy is sick as hell. It looks like a ghost rare up on that screen, because how terrible that is. Oh, look at that. The more up I put it, the more of a ghost rare it looks. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, triple Puppy, super freaking cute. I mean, like, literally. So Melffy monsters, I'm gonna go ahead and put them up all up on the screen. Melffy monsters all have the same effect. Whenever a monster on your opponent's side of the field is normal or special summoned, you could bounce them back to your hand. And for Puppy, special summon a level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck, which means you can summon a cat if you need it. But remember, guys, if this is summoned by the effect of a beast type monster, there we go. Yeah, you automatically get a pop on your field, and you get this back in your hand, so you have little extra resources for recycling and stuff. And that's what I love about this deck. It's all about recycling resources from stuff kind of like that. This is like its own little virtual world, except better, because I did get a virtual world that run for its money by 2-0ing them. But yeah, I mean, that's amazing. A cat's effect is that it could bounce back to your hand whenever a monster in your opponent's turn is normal special summon, or if they attack into them, they could bounce back to your hand. And then you could actually get any beast monster. So this is actually a searcher alpha for your next play or your rescue cat. Yeah, so I mean, that's amazing as hell. This thing, I put it at 2 because it's easy to get on the field. I mean, I don't need to run 3 because, I mean, it's not as destructive as Puppy. It's just more of a next turn. I'm going to do this on my next turn, getting set up for my next turn sort of recovery sort of play. So you can make sure that, you don't have to rely on your draw phase to get the stuff that you need. Lastly, I'm ashamed because I don't have the new OTS 16 super rare of Nerval, but Tri-Brigade Nerval. Yeah, basically we just use this guy to pitch, once we use Kit gets into the graveyard, you want to send Nerval to the graveyard, so Nerval can add a Tri-Brigade monster to your hand, then we want to add the Cuirass to the hand. So he just kind of like that thing we have to kind of circle through. You don't want to see him in your beginning hand, you play 1. So yeah, I mean after you just kind of get that Tri-Brigade engine started, I mean, it kind of just keeps rolling. It just keeps rolling, and you're never not with your Tri-Brigade stuff. So it's super cool. This is a double pot of desires, because a lot of this time, I mean, if you have a driver in there, I mean, if you banish it sucks, but when I go first, I want to maximize on my board. I usually site this out going second, because if I win the first one, my opponent says, hey, you're they're not gonna say, hey, you're going second. Well, obviously this is a format where you want to go second all the time. You want to go first all the time, so they're going to go first. So desires, yeah, it's a risk, but oh well. I mean, yeah, it's what you have to do. Now, time for the best start in the whole freaking deck, man. Obedience School. Special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast monsters, and it's not once per turn. So they actually have another one in hand, just use another one. Fuck that. What the hell? Yeah, just use another one. Yeah, it's amazing as hell. You could like I said, this is one of your things where you like to use Gamma, that you could just use Gamma if they try to do Ash it, which is you get 5 cards up on the field all at once. To do that several times, you're going to do that a lot in this deck. So yeah, and I'll tell you what you want to start out with in case y'all don't know. Card destruction, it's kind of in there just to be in there. Sometimes I start out with the Nerval or the Kit in hand. I just kind of, if I see that in card destruction, I'm just like, but it's one of those cards that just kind of side out if I don't need it. And it's kind of funny because sometimes when you're at a locals and you see your opponent, they look at their hand, they're all smiling, they're all smug. They're just, I got 5 cards left here. They're all smug. They're just, oh yeah, yeah. I'll say, oh, card destruction. Yeah, because sometimes people just let out too much. Monster Reborn. Yeah, I mean, just an extender. I mean, it works. I mean, it's a recovery play. It's good. I mean, why not? Called by the Grave. That thing clutches so much. Called by the Grave is amazing. Yeah, run Called by the Grave. It's a must. It always gets the Ash Blossom, the Droll, and the Artifact Lancia. But we don't worry about that too much in Melffy Tri-Brigade, because if they cut off your Melffy stuff, I mean your Tri-Brigade stuff, you can still go into Melffy's. I had locals, just like when I played against Subterra Guru, they said no more Xyz, and I was like, okay, I still got Link stuff with my Tri-Brigade. Then they said no more Link monsters, so I was like, okay, I still got Xyz stuff with my Melffy. So I was like, you're just not stopping this. It just has too much stuff. Emergency Teleport, because Gammas in your hand are essentially dead if you jump that driver, and we got lots of level 2 rank 2s in this deck, so Emergency Teleport, Gamma's is a 2. Dude, Gamma has so much sync with this deck. Even if you don't, I mean, resolve Gamma, you can still use Gamma. It's so cool. Let's see, here we go. Melffy Hide and Seek. This card is sick. Melffy Hide and Seek. So basically they can't let's say any beast monster cannot be destroyed the first time, and you can shuffle 3 beast monsters of different names from your graveyard into your deck and draw a card. And that's amazing for recycling resources. I like to put back my puppies. I like to put back my Carasses. I like to put back my my Link monsters, my Tri-Brigade Link monster, and other like Xyz stuff I use. And that's amazing. So I never have to worry about running multiple copies of an Xyz monster, because I just recycle the cool ones back in my deck. But yeah, I mean, Melffy Hide and Seek is cool, and when they try to Dragoon pop one of your cards, it's protected the first time. So they have to use both pops, or they're just going to be an idiot sometimes, not read the card and be like, and go for one monster and then the other, and I'll be like, no, you can't do that. Like, yeah, you can, but it's the effect is nothing. Tri-Brigade Revolt. Tri-Brigade Revolt is a sick card that just came out of here. I ordered 5 copies of its Searcher. They came inside the mail. This girl right here. Yeah, it's a sick card that came, and it just wasn't relevant to play until now, because this thing could recycle all your banish stuff, put it all up on the field, and be able to link on your opponent's turn, which is sick. Like, seriously. Yeah, Revolt is amazing. Use Revolt. Yeah, it's amazing. That's literally. Okay, time for the extra deck. Yeah, we're gonna go for the extra deck. Naturia Beast, you use Bambi, and you use the Mind Mole, and you make this card, and thanks to Mind Mole, you get a draw card when he uses Synchro Materia. Hell yeah. So yeah, Nat Beast. Negates all spells. That's basically what he says. Then we're gonna run Herald of the Arclight. We run Herald. We make Herald a lot. Let's say you have a puppy and a cat on the field. Use Puppy's effect. You destroy them with the Kalantosin, and then use and then a cat's effect. You put the Hopier Squadron into your hand, and you target the Kalantosin, the little hedgehog, and you make Herald the Arclight. So not only did you destroy one, you got 2 cards back in your hand from the field, and you got a Herald of the Arclight. Like, seriously, it's amazing. It just leaves no dead monsters on the field, and then they usually in turn just try to attack the Herald, and okay, I got another turn. I got more cards in my hand now. Okay, do it. Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. This card is an Xyz deck. Xyz and Links. So, yeah, Sky Thunder's cool, and we could be just as good as Zodiac. If not better, because I actually did beat Zodiac, and it was funny. I'm going to tell you my side card for that. Joyous Melffy. Joyous Melffy says, if you detach a material, all Melffy monsters, which is Joyous Melffy, and other Melffy monsters, but can attack directly. What happens when Xyz attacks directly? You're going to make Zeus. So like you get rescue, if they let you pull off your rescue, you make an Xyz monster, you go, just like Zodiac, they just let you go that far, with just those couple of two-parter plays to make Xyz monsters and go and attack you directly. I mean, you're gonna make Zeus just as easy as them. You may not have all the materials as they make, but you have a lot more stuff that you're gonna be able to do than Zodiac. So I mean, yeah, yeah. So that's cool. Joyous Melffy's and Double A Zeus, cool combo. If you're going second, yeah, especially if they have just like a fat board and you know. We're gonna go for number 64, Ronin Raccoon. That is my boy. I see a lot of people who don't use this card, and I don't understand why, because this card is sick as hell. So you get yourself your Omen on the field, your Link 4 Tri-Brigade monster, which is easy. You make this guy 3,000, copy the highest attack on the field. You could copy Dragoon, bait out its negate, copy Dragoon, and make him, and just swing your token and Dragoon together, and boom, that's it. Yeah. Okay, like, why not run Ronin Raccoon? If you need extra damage, if you need to OTK, he's your OTK maker. You make Ronin Raccoon if you need OTK, or if you just need a big giant beat stick, you know. Or do what I did: copy a Grand Maju and use Misu's Radiant, put extra 500 on that token, and attack into the Grand Maju. Now you have yourself a bigger Grand Maju, which is a token, which is amazing. That's your first play, Melffy of the Forest. Melffy of the Forest is so amazing because it doesn't say 2 beast monsters. It literally just says 2, so 2 level 2 monsters. So you could use your Gamma to make this, and it's, yeah, I mean, it's good. And then it searches you out a Melffy monster or your hide and seek, which is cool, which is, you know. This is a vital. I never thought how good this card was until I actually started playtesting, and sometimes you go into the grind game and it's really hard to recover once you know, because I only run 1 Omen and I run my Raccoon, and you know, those are like my boss monsters, and I run Unchained Abomination. So once you lose your 2 boss monsters, it's kind of hard. But this guy right here, this girl right here, this she's a recovery play. You disattach a material and special summon 1 monster from your opponent's grave, and select that monster, and Mannequin Cat will summon the same type or attribute from your deck or graveyard onto the field. So if you could summon a Dark or a Fiend from their side of the field, you could, or just a Dark in general, which, you know, people are running Dragoons, so Dark Magician or something, then you could literally just get your Omen or your Unchained Abomination back, which is cool. Yeah, Mannequin Cat, you need that for a recovery play. There's that. Unchained Abomination, this thing's easy to make. I used to run Boral Sword, and Boral Sword was cool, and I love Boral Sword. He's a huge OTK maker. But Unchained Abomination is a lot easier to get out because you can use Caress to just summon out your Link 3 Tri-Brigade monster, use him and Caress to go into the Unchained Abomination, and hooray, let's say in mid to late game, whatever, you just literally just use Caress to summon Link 3 and use them to off of 1 card, off of 1 Tri-Brigade monster. It doesn't have to be Caress. It could be Nerval, it could be Kit, it could be anything you used, or a Fractal. You use 1 card to make a Link 4 that's not even a part of their archetype. Like, seriously? Wow. Omen. I do have more Omen, but I mean, yeah, I just use this guy, and thanks to Mannequin Cat, he's recoverable, and Monster Reborn and stuff. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I never really need to see more than that. You can recycle her, so I play 1 of them. So I mean, yeah, she just special summons. You can special summon, you know, you could use the extender, shuffle her back, and I mean, she's just cool, along with her new sister here up in this giant robot thing, which is amazing because this thing says discard 2 cards from your hand and special summon a banished Tri-Brigade monster, and then you could link that banished Tri-Brigade monster off with herself and make Baron Blossom, and you can use her graveyard effect. This one's a graveyard effect, and this graveyard effect reads that if this is into your graveyard, get a basically Tri-Brigade Revolt in this deck to your hand, and then shuffle 1 card back from your hand into the deck, and you can set your Revolt this way. And this is why Revolt is so relevant now, because of this monster. So yeah, this monster is super cool. I bought so many. I didn't buy so many, but I bought quite a bit of her because this card, I believe this card would be worth money. Missus Radiant. That card helps a lot more than you think. It's a link to Beast Monsters. So when you're locked into Beast Monsters, what's it called? When you're locked in, oh, excuse me. When you're locked into Beast Monsters, you know, after your obedience school, this gives them a 500 boost. And I mean, instead of summoning Blossom, if you don't want to summon Blossom, you just summon a 500 attack booster. And if it gets sent to the graveyard, then you get Earth Monster back to your hand. So it's still recovery. So they have to think of, you know, I mean, yeah, Missus Radiant's awesome. This is all about recovery. This whole deck. We're gonna go with Ancient Warrior. What's it called? Double Dragon Lords. Ancient Warrior Oath Double Dragon Lords. Boom, big name. At least it ain't Double A Zeus Sky Thunder or something, whatever. So yeah, this card reads that you could pop a card from your hand. Like, let's say this is a Nerval or a Kit or whatever. You could pop a card from your hand or on the field, and you could get that thing as a Fet going, which is to bounce back a card from, you know, from their field to their hand, which is vital for some place, you know? Yeah, you could quick effect this into a anti-spell fragrance or something or whatever that they have on the field that's like really messing with you, that they're gonna have to set or whatever, and like you just know where it's gonna set. I don't know, it just helps a lot. And a lot of people wonder about the fact that the stipulation where it says including one Ancient Warriors, Tri-Brigade's they kind of bypass that need for that. So I mean, yeah, in case you ever get caught in ruling, I mean, Tri-Brigades are special. Last one is IP Masquerade. I can't tell you how much I wanted to take this out of the deck, but it helped so freaking much. IP Masquerade is amazing because in late game she's amazing too. If you want to put your driver back into the deck, you can use driver and gamma and make an IP. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can do with IP. A lot of times, I was given a monster that had to be used in one of my matchups. It was so crazy. I was given a monster, I think, confronting the sea or whatever, and I had to use that as material for a monster. I was like, okay, IP Masquerena. I was like, yeah. So IP Masquerena is amazing for a lot of things. She causes utility for a lot of things, and you can make monsters on your opponent's turn just on the leftovers, and her ability to make something indestructible by card effects on an Unchained Abomination or something like that was amazing during the game too. I needed that 100% the whole entire time. Now, as in for my side deck, I am a chump, and I did not put my side deck together, but I will tell you what I ran for my side deck, because I do actually have the cards right here. All right, so what I ran for my side deck was crazy. I ran one Alpha the Master Beasts, and I ran three Dark Ruler No Mores. I ran three Nibiru's, three Droll and Lock birds, 3, 6, 9. I ran three Twin Twisters, which that's easy. And then I ran the Alpha, the Harpies, and the Melffy Mommy down here. Melffy Mommy, the reason you want to run Melffy Mommy is because Zodiacs, they play, the beast stuff, so you can actually absorb beast monsters with Melffy Mommy, not only your own from your hand or on the field, you also absorb their beast monsters as well. So when you're trying to go against a Zodiac Tri-Brigade sort of thing, just use Melffy Mommy and just outbeat them, because we have more utility. I believe we have more utility than the Zodiac. Now there was the instance, the last tournament when I won in first place, I went 2 times, but the last one I did not use Droll and Lockbird because I didn't believe I needed it at the time. But what I did end up running was, and then what I did end up getting me the match was here. It's not right here. It was 3 Closed Forest, Closed Forest is a amazing card. Actually, I do have it. It's right here. Uh, Here's actually the other side deck I have. There it is. Yeah, so there's the Twin Twisters and the Closed Forest. So Closed Forest says that they can't play any field spells. We do have 2 Mystic Mind players at my locals. If y'all see this, I'm calling y'all out. Trey and Jonah. So yeah, this says you can't play any field spells. Your opponent can't, and your beast monsters get 100 attack for every monster you have in the graveyard, which actually won me the match against the Subterra Guru player. Yeah, that was a close match, and I actually gained my puppy enough attack to swing for game, which is amazing. That was funny too. So yeah, Closed Forest is amazing. Everything's beast. It's a floodgate for the hidden city or hidden whatever for the Guru field spell. It's amazing for the magical meltdown. When they're playing that, Mystic Mind is what's meant for, and it gives your monsters an extra boost on top of already getting rid of the Mystic Mind player or whatever, and it's amazing. Twin Twisters, just to get it off that first time. Twin Twisters, you want to use that against a bunch of back row decks. I feel like that's what the format calls for, is Twin Twisters. So yeah, that was a 25-minute deck profile. Yeah, so this card, the deck is 40 cards, 15 on the extra deck. It's an amazing deck. Don't underestimate Melffy Tri-Brigades, because I worked my ass off on this deck to make it competitive against all scenes. Although the more rogue I do seem play against, the worse it does. But the more meta, like invoke Shaddolls and stuff, the better it does. And it's so cool. I lost to 2 weeks ago. I lost to ABC Dragon Buster, and I was so embarrassed. But yeah, I could win against Dragon Link, Virtual World, and Dinos, but I lost to ABC Dragon Buster, because the more rogue the deck, the more you just don't respect it. Respect the decks. You want to know that you want to learn what each deck does, and this deck is all about knowing the metagame. That's what this deck is about. This deck is about knowing the metagame. This is the last words before I call it on here. This deck is about knowing the metagame, because on this deck you can make a play to make an Aturia Beast and have less resources, but your opponent not using any spells, or you could tailor it more into getting a puppy and more destruction on the field, but your opponent wants more stuff in their graveyard. So essentially, you have to know the meta to play this deck. You have to you tailor your board based on what your opponent is playing, and that's what this deck is about. You would tailor an amazing board against a Pendulum player. Like, you don't play a Pendulum player, you put up an Aturia Beast, you don't worry about putting too much destruction on the field. If they had the Dark Roller, then they had the Dark Roller no matter what deck you were playing. That's the way this deck works. Know the meta, know what you're playing against, at least know the gist of what they do. If it's spell reliant, if it's graveyard reliant, if they just like to spam stuff on the field or whatever. If it's trap reliant, then you run Joyous. You want to put into a Joyous Melffy so you can at least put the Hedgehog on the field. That's a lot of what this deck is. You have to know the meta, and if y'all want a combo tutorial, I could do that. But yeah, Melffy Tri-Brigade, best deck. It's won for locals a couple times. The couple times I've played it. I've always topped with it. No one ever expects it. No one knows what Melffy's does, so it's a big surprise deck. And even if they do, sometimes they have to bait the destructions, and baiting the destructions is sometimes too much, because you have Unchained, you have an Omen who does the banish from Puppy, does the thing, and then you have negates that come along with it. So yeah, I mean, a lot of times if they don't draw that Dark Roller, then it's GG, you win. I mean, but and you still have back row for recovery play. And everything just recycles resources once it hits the graveyard. Draw a card, get Earth Monster back in hand. Yeah, I mean, this deck is amazing. It's if they let you, you go first and they let you have the next turn, and they didn't do much destruction on your side of the field, you're popping off. That's how it is a lot of these games with Melffy Brigade, because if they don't let you go, if they let you go through and then they didn't destroy your whole board and absolutely wipe you out, then you're going to pop off next turn and you're just going to kill them and OTK them. That's how this deck works. It was nice. Like I said, comment tutorial, like, comment. This is gonna be my first ever like actual like video that I worked on the YouTube channel. To be sorry blurry. If this gets some views, so I'm gonna upgrade the camera for this right here. For yeah, right here. And yeah, I mean, seriously, Melffy gave best deck. OTS 16 is out. I'm gonna get some Cyber Dragons. Peace.